Hello everyone, my name is Aramika Brown, also known as Encyclopedia on the online internet community. And today I'm going to show you some sewing and shearing techniques. Now of course when you're sewing your item and you're trying to cut out a pattern or you have to cut out your pieces to begin sewing things together, you have to cut your fabric. So you would like to begin, if you have a cutting mat, you would like to place your fabric on top of a cutting mat or whatever surface that you're using. You want to make sure that your fabric is flat, and you can either use a rotary cutter or the appropriate shears. Now there are three main types of shears that you can use when cutting your fabric, and the first would be a serrated edge shear. Those shears are typically used when you are cutting knit type fabrics, anything that has a little bit of stretch to it. The second shear that you would use when you are cutting out patterns or cutting fabric would be known as the bent angle dressmaker shears. Now I have a pair of those and they are very good because, as you notice, it has a flat edge which helps to keep the fabric flat as you're cutting it. When you lay it down and you begin to cut, you want to make sure that you slice through and push the shear forward as you're going along. This ensures a very smooth edge as you cut your fabric. And notice that because of the flat edge, it kept the fabric flat on there and ensured a nice smooth cut. The third type of shear that you would use or could use would be a pinking shear. Now this is not used for cutting your fabric for the project, this is used for when you're finishing your seams. And we know pinking shears because it has the jagged teeth type edge. And after you finish sewing your project together and you have your seams and you want to finish them to help to minimize the fraying of the edges, you will proceed to use your pinking shears and you would cut along the edges of your seam. And once you're done with that, you can always press open your seam edges and it helps to make sure that it lays flat. And that also, like I said, minimizes the fraying of the edges. Another way in which you can cut through your fabric would be to use a rotary cutter. So you would use a rotary cutter and you would have your straight edge ruler. And you would place your ruler flat down onto the top of your fabric and you would align your edge to the fabric where you want to cut, and then you proceed to open up your blade or utilize your blade and go along the edge of the ruler and press down and roll away from you, and that would also provide a way of cutting through your fabric. Now of course with any of these items you want to make sure that you do not utilize your shears for anything other than the fabric, because if you utilize them for paper it will dull the scissors and cause it to catch on the fabric. It's called chewing the fabric, and you don't want that to happen because you want to ensure a smooth and nice cut. Well, those are some of the sewing and shearing techniques that I have for you today. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Aramika Brown, and if you have any questions you can reach me at e@cocktailsandthread.com.